The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the barbers. The Amateur Show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the barbers. The amateur show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. 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 The Amateur The amateur show. For the show, not the virus. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not performance. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The amateur show. For the show, not the varmint. The amateur show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not performance. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the varmints. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the virus. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the virus. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the virus. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the virus. The Amateur Show. The Amateur Show. For the show, not the virus. The Amateur Show.
Alright, and I think we're live. Yeah, there's probably not a lot. Hold on one second. There we go, put a little light on the subject. That might be a bit bright. Oh, this way. As you have to watch this because it's kind of back to front. And so it's a little bit trippy doing this. Anyway, we'll see if anybody comes into the chat. Looks like there's nobody at the moment. I don't know who I'm talking to. Yeah. So this could either go an hour, half an hour, maybe even 10 minutes. Who knows? But we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'd like to start by wishing everybody a Happy New Year. Sorry for if there's a lot of noise in the background too. And I'll explain a lot of things actually. Normally I have a proper microphone, but at the moment it broke. It's around somewhere. It's back there. Yeah, like there's a power cord at the back of it, and well, I got a replacement for it, but that doesn't work either. I guess it needs a certain cord, or I guess whatever. So I'm looking to get a new microphone so I could do pre-records at home. The other day, I had to travel all the way into the radio station to record this week's show that aired yesterday. And you know, life as a presenter. And it's a good thing I actually had those couple of days off because hey, I haven't had much days off at all. In fact, when I have the other job where I work counting on passengers. I count passengers on public transport, so there's buses, trams, and trains. when you're on the trains, you're on the platforms, and you're near the post where the posts are. They're touching on with their Mikey card or touching off. And if you're in New South Wales, it's like your Opal card, same thing. And so, and with that, it's either you count. It depends on the job. It's either jobs on, people going on the train, or people coming off. With buses, it's a little bit different. You're going from station to other parts of Melbourne, and people coming on and off. Sometimes with those two, you're working with like an extra person, and when you have the extra person, it does get a little bit hard because, well, not so much hard, but it gets a bit boring because it's like one's counting and the other one doesn't have to do anything. Especially if they're if there's trains and buses, which is common, and then there's two people. Well, one might do the count. Well, whoever's putting the stuff in the phone, because there's an app and everything for it. They'll count the buses. You will probably count the trains. And then sometimes you have when it's all bus jobs and there's two people, and you're not doing anything at all. So that happens. But there's also trams. So with trams, it's different again. So you working on the trams, and you're assigned a door. There's between, depends on the trams and the route it's going. It's between 3 and 5, and sometimes whoever's number 3 or 4, you probably have 4 people with you, and they're the ones that does what's called the loads, and they count everybody that's currently on the train. And if there's 4 doors and there's 3 people, so your number 3 counts both doors. So you kind of have the big job if you're door number 3 or 4, whatever, going forward. So that's the sort of an explanation of that job, and it's not a bad job. I mean, there's good and bad with everything, I guess. But like it's mindless work, and it's easy work. And I enjoy it because I get to go around Melbourne. And when I first came here, I thought it would take me 10 years to learn about Melbourne, and it's kind of taken me less than 2 doing this job 3 months. And there's still parts of Melbourne that I still have to go to. I mean, my friend Chloe was up the other day, and actually probably seen more places that I haven't even seen yet, and probably been to more bars too. Like, because we've been in lockdown, there hasn't been much options to do anything. So that's how it goes. Right. There's Luke Birch in the chat. Hey pal, working on a personal project for a mate, but I'll be listening. Now, where's Luke? I mean, hey, happy to see you in the chat. I haven't spoken to you for a while, and happy Christmas and happy New Year, by the way. Miss that guy. Like, when I used to do the Sky Genie show, a lot of times, I'd be working with other co-hosts, and they would not show because they were sick, or some issue with audio, which happens all the time when you're doing podcasting, radio, and anything like that. It's always happening, and it's as frustrating as it can be. And Luke Birch is somebody who used to help out a lot, and we kind of had fun because he used to be in the chat a lot, which he is now. And we kind of made a show. On the show, we inducted him into the chat room Hall of Fame. We just made it up, and he's the only one. I think he's the only one. This guy, so he gets his own special mention there. So he could probably put that on his profile next. Yeah, I think he did for a while, but then I guess when the show ended, probably took that out. It used to be a cool thing. Anywho, I say anywho, like, for some reason, people find that funny for some reason, I don't know. I don't know where I got that from. I think I got that from The Simpsons. I mean, a lot of quotes I got from The Simpsons, and if you listen to the past week's amateur show, or yesterday's amateur show, I was ending the show, and the song is like shake, 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 shake. That song. So there's if you ever watch The Simpsons, there's that one where it's like a clip show, and it's got Troy McClure as doing the narrating on the show. And it's at the end of the show. I was like, now we're going to show what everybody came to see: hardcore nudity. Well, I kind of did that, but then it's also added because it was radio and to be funny. Hardcore nudity. Oh wait, we're on the radio. Well, close your eyes and imagine. I mean, hey, why not? Hashtag the songs. Yes, it was. And there might be a bit of a delay here because, yeah, I don't know. YouTube. This is actually I think this is my first time doing a live stream on YouTube. I mean, when I did the Sky Genie show, it was originally a YouTube-based podcast, and I didn't even do video for it. Obvious reasons. No, not really. Yes and no, but then also I didn't really have a lot of the equipment, and I'll be honest, I'm not even tech savvy. I mean, I'm doing this, and it's pretty much a lot of things that are programmed in. It's because everything's so dumbed down for me that it actually works. And it's probably things so I got that thing, like and subscribe the amateur show YouTube channel, but I don't know how to do the ticker thing. This thing probably doesn't do it, but like, and so someone will have to sit and actually put me through it. There's something else. Someone had to put me through here earlier. It's like, okay, this is great. So, but what do I do? And I know I should be of that age, but then I'm also a small town. I didn't grow up with the internet. I didn't grow up with a lot of things growing up, and I grew up in the age of the internet. But when it was coming out, it wasn't exactly something you could afford, or everybody could afford. Now everything's on the internet. Podcasting, radio goes on the internet. YouTube, obviously a big thing. And, well, anyway, so a lot of what I'm doing here is, well, what's the big announcement? Well, I'll get to that. I'm trying to get more people in chat. I don't think people are coming in, but I'll get to it anyway. Like, as I said, it'll probably even go half hour. It could even go an hour. It could even be 10 minutes. We're in already 10 minutes in now. It's actually almost been an hour since I started doing the live stream, but then I was on standby. Where was I? Brain dead. The big announcement, but there's something else I was meant to do. Live radio. See, and here's the thing, I haven't written anything down. And when you're working in radio, you've got to write everything. In podcasting too, you've got to write everything down so you know where you're going. I learned another thing too. Write thing, if you ever do radio or podcasting, and you've got to script yourself, write it in your words. Like, if you're gonna read something out on air, and you don't say that word properly, or you're gonna go there and be stumped, it will play with you, and you got to think dead air, dead air, dead air. But and like you pretty much always, script it in your words. That's the advice I give. But it's tech savvy, so whew. By the way, I'm having dinner, but as I'm doing this, Happy New Year. The big announcement is actually show related, but what I'm also trying to do is use this to promote the amateur show YouTube page. And if you can see down there, it's sort of written there. Probably doesn't look that great, but there's also links down below. See those links down below? Yeah, they look good, don't they? Don't they? Don't they? But I'm trying to promote the amateur show because what I'm trying to do is sort of create an experience. So when you're listening to the show, you have what happens up on the show, but I also want to do it off. sort of offside projects. And with the Sky Genie show, well, I mean, I'll still use this channel and probably it takes a little bit of a back seat because like I'm trying to promote this other one. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with this one yet, because I was doing travel shows where I go around Melbourne and where it's called Scotty Goes, and I'll probably start doing that again, but because I work. But I'll probably do that. Sorry, bourbon. Because I'm sort of working at the moment where I travel, and also doing the radio, where I also have to travel because it's like an hour. Like I have to get on a train to travel to out of the city to get to the station that I'm getting to. So so I don't really. So when you get those days off, getting days off, like you don't really want to go travel. But I'm sort of, because I got 10 days off with my job. So what I'm going to be doing is sort of, with the amateur show, is doing, or hoping to get the vlog back going. Because I started doing a vlog for the channel. And I'm also looking to do some Randomonica videos. If you don't know what Randomonica is, it's an app. It's sort of a paranormal sort of app. I guess if that's the right way I should describe it. But it thrives on intent. It's like a game, pretty much. You have an intention. So you could have a funny intention. You could have a scary intention. A lot of YouTubers do a lot of scary intentions. I want to do sort of a mixture, and so what it does, you pick a radius of where you want to go. So it could be like a kilometer, or it could be like 10 kilometers. But because I walk everywhere, I'd probably do like 1. And so it takes you to different locations, and sometimes, a lot of times, it's a bust, and other times it'll take you to stuff, and it takes you like riddles and stuff like that. It also takes you to abandoned buildings, and like you see a lot of these people have found dead bodies, people have found hacked up, people have found like they find like a lot of dolls. Like there was one in America, so they go into the forest, and there's like dolls and that all duct taped to the branches of all the trees. It's all in like this area. Like I don't know if that's a lot of that is staged or not. I mean, it could be. I don't know. It sounds like fun, and give it a go. I actually did a couple of them, and one I did on my own. Like I did one with my old roommate back at the other place I was living at, and I also did one on my own. And I sort of did more funny intents for that one, and for that I found dog shit, and the intention was money. Yeah. I mean, hey, it looks like money. I guess if it looks like money to me, right? Anyway, message retracted. I don't know what you use right there, Luke Birch, but did you swear on it? I might have a filter on the chat for swearing, just because of the radio side. Like, I don't know if I've done that for this one or not. I know I did for the other one. So just be careful of your words there. Anyway, cool. So I'm just gonna check something, and huh. Always checking something. Okay, so do I have a few more things I want to get into before I get into the big announcement? I don't know. There's also the amateur show website. The amateurshow.square.site. I have to remember. It's in the link down below. There, if you've never listened to the amateur show before and you want to check it out, you can go there, and there's all archives of shows. A lot of music shows. I do a lot of music tributes. I do a lot of segments on the show, and there's a segment called Stupid Stuff of the Week. Luke Birch will remember it as something else. We'll remember it as something else. it was an old segment, stupid stuff of the week. So what I do is that sort of you can sort of add to that too. But what I do is I find stupid stuff in the news, stupid stuff on TV, whether it's reality show based. When I did it, it was wrestling based because the Sky Junior show was originally a wrestling podcast. Then I also did the final witch after party, which got a bit wild, and I don't know if there's many episodes of that left. I did have places where it was posted, but I'm not sure if they're even accessible. Like I used to have a hard drive of all the old episodes, and I was gonna sort of re-edit them and put them up, but then obviously I dropped the hard drive, which it didn't like it was just as simple as that, and that was enough to lose 2 years and 100 episodes of the Sky Genie show, and however many I did of the Final Wish After Party, which was probably the most fun shows I ever did. Yes, it was. I won't bring up any things that I'll blame Bobby Anthem made famous. Okay, I might have came up with it, but he made famous. um, um, yeah, so I'm trying to see if there's anything more I want to get out before I make the big announcement. Because I still want to get a bit of a catch up. People come in, join live, have fun on the chat. I don't know what the VOR thing actually before I tried to do this before and had a few tests. For some reason, this thing has a 360 rotation thing, and I took the setting off, but if it did it, you could turn around the different parts of the room, and it would be like the picture and the logo would all be different. Yeah, it was whole trippy, and as you're thinking, it's the best. Like, I want this to come out good. I probably should have done that. It'd probably been a lot more fun. But I'll probably do that next time. Yeah, there will be next time. And if you want there to be a next time, go to the Amateur Show YouTube channel. The link down below. Like and subscribe it. Yeah, because then obviously because I want we can get the more likes and subscribers on there. I'll do more live streams. Yeah, now there's an incentive. And if you don't want me to do it, then hey, that's that. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. Tackle them in the street. Tackle strangers in the street and go, hey, listen to the Amateur Show on your local station, 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. Obviously, you're not in the area. There is another way to listen to it. There's an app called Simple Radio app, and it goes to radio stations all around the world. All around the world. And I think it's pretty cool. The other thing that's annoying about the app, I will say, when you try to get out of the radio stations that you're listening to, you have to uninstall the app. That's the only thing. That's the one bit of advice I would give. But otherwise, you can listen to it. And you go to Plenty Valley FM in Melbourne, and that's the one I'm at currently. And if you miss a show, or want to listen to it back, there's the website down below and the link, and there's an on-demand. You got the shows on demand. Yeah, so versatile. Versatile. There's other ways to listen to it. So you have no excuse not to be listening to the Amateur Show. There was actually a few shows there because when I had to do jury duty, and there was a few I think it's between May and June, July sometime. They actually got lost because I did a few drive shows, and in between jury duty, and then I sort of took the time off to finish off the jury duty, and I came back and there's a few lost. So there's actually a few, but it was sort of a learning curve, I guess. But I reckon we had a lot. There was a lot of fun. So I said I did do a lot of band tributes. I did the Aussie series, and I did the Decades of Amateur, and I'm thinking of doing another tribute next week, and I'm thinking of doing a Twisted Sister one. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of doing now. I'll probably change it between now and then. I'll probably, since I've announced it, that's probably what I'll end up doing. It's not the whole show though, so there's 2 hours. Sometimes I'll do the 1 hour. It'll be a whole lot of songs because I do have to have Aussie. I do have to have a percentage of Aussie content. Sometimes I'll make the full hour Aussie content, and the second hour is the tribute show. Or it could be the first one that's the tribute show, and the second one will be the Aussie content. But when I do the tribute shows, it's like having 2 shows in one. So anyway, right. So let's get to the big announcement. And really, I'll be honest. The big announcement was to tie in to promote the amateur show. So it might be a bit more clickbaity. So I started when I came to I'll start. When I started doing podcasting in 2016. So when I get in September this year, or close to, I'm in my fifth to sixth year of broadcasting, whether it be on podcast or radio. This would technically in September would be my 6th year. So I guess it's a bit removed. My fifth year in radio in broadcasting, and it's been a journey, and the reason why I got into it in general. So I was originally working at a previous job, and I resigned. So I worked there 10 years, and it wasn't going good. It was good, going good for a while, and it was 10 years. Time to give it up. Time to do something else. And it came to a period in 2015, 2016 where I had family members pass away. One would be my sister, the other one would be my dad. And where we were, they didn't really have a lot of opportunities, and my dad was a hardcore drug addict. My sister had health issues, but there wasn't really a lot of opportunity there. And I made a decision. I didn't want to be somebody who was waiting around to die. And when I was living back at Foster in Taree, and I miss those places as well. So if there's people watching this, and don't get offended when I say this, but like there was no opportunity for me there, and so I decided to get into podcasting, and it was something to keep me on, get my mind doing something, because I went really stupid, and you can imagine you're not doing anything, and I need to be doing something. And so this became a project. And I get into a lot of projects where there's a lot of creative. You look into my my Facebook page or my YouTube channels, for instance. I'll do a lot of random stuff. Some of it out there, some funny, some not that great, but whatever. I like to create stuff. And a lot of this, I don't care about money. I don't care about fame. I don't care about nothing. I mean, there's a few people. There's probably a few people here in the chat. Vio is a bot, and you may want to delete it. Okay. Remove. There we go. As I said, not that tech savvy. So, like, I've always been somebody over creative content. I actually did a YouTube video series called Scotty D TV, which was not that great, but there was a character called Mackie, who was, if you ever heard of the rock, if you ever heard of the band called Wasp, the lead singer is called Blackie Lawless. And so what I did, I got this bad wig, so I got this jacket and shirt and that became Mackie, and I can't do the voice anymore. But back on, and I think I ended up killing him because he couldn't rock on anymore. Like someone told him he couldn't do rock anymore, and he died in the spot. It was something silly like that. I'm pretty morbid like that, and So that got me into wanting to do stuff creatively. And this was when I was still working at my old job. When I left that, it kind of came to that, and I'll be doing wrestling. And a fellow podcaster by the name of Anthony Missionary Thomas, who does a podcast called Wrestling Soup. He had suggested, hey, why don't you try and do podcasting? Because I had a bit of knowledge in watching wrestling as a fan. And so I did. And in the shows, the early shows are on this channel. You can find playlists. You can find playlists of my very first podcast. It's not that great. It's not that long. It's probably about 20 minutes, maybe. And it's kind of really dumb. And I did it with a Guitar Hero mic. Not exactly the best quality radio. I'll do one now with a Guitar Hero mic, if I really felt like doing that. I did that for 2 years, and eventually, as would go on, I'll have some co-hosts. I'll make friends with other podcasts with guys like Yuck Nasty and Johnny Florida, Corvin, Old Man Jenkins, Papa Dave. As I said, Yuck and Doggo, Get in the Corner, and WNC. I mean, we used to always do each other's shows all the time, and it used to be a cool thing. There was a whole period there, and Luke Birch will tell you this, when we'd be appearing on each other's shows, and we had nothing but fun. It was nothing but fun. And they got a bit out there, and Yuck is probably doing shows with those guys is awesome. But we also got a co-host with Bobby Blades, and Bobby Anthem. We also had Klondike Bill come on. We had Mike Neon for a little while, and it was coming on to be a pretty big thing. And then what happened is, because I was in between living at home, and kind of happened to start to get in a bad period of my life again. And as I said, well, when my sister passed away, and my dad too, but my sister passed away, and it kind of affected family life a little bit, a lot. We're not very Christmassy. Like we will celebrate Christmas for others. So we'll get in there, we'll get into the spirit of it. But when it comes to ourselves, we if we're not needed, we'll reclude. And that's the whole family, because Christmas used to be, would go to would get up, would open the presents at home, then we'd go to our nans and have lunch, and a big dinner, and that all kind of ended. So anyway, and there was an issue, because I had to move back with my mum, because I was in between places at that point, and we had an argument, and pretty much the show ended because of a few issues. So I went into Atari, and a bit before that I started, because I actually did a radio course in between that point, and actually finished it, graduated. So it was not really graduated, it was an online course that was like a 6-week thing, and pretty much it was me just showing off. It was pretty much me showing off. I'd record, so what I'd there'll be assignments we had to do, and it involved a lot of recording. One recording I'll do series as a straight presenter, the other one I'll do if I did as a podcasting, and they actually liked that, because they liked how it was a little bit versatile with it. And then we went to Two Bob Radio. I had a bit of training there. Well, wasn't getting too far, but then as I said, I was only really new, and they really didn't know me much for a hole in the wall. And I started to get a little bit. I felt getting a little bit of respect at the station, because they would help out with whenever they had big events going on, which you should do, by the way. If you're going into community radio, do those events, because not only do you get to meet people, but it also shows that to the station that you're willing to help out. I mean, if you can't do it because you have work and stuff like that, they understand. But if you can get out there and help them out, like it's a big thing. Stuff behind the scenes, and stuff like that. And you also, and what I did, I would go there and I'd do these things, and I'd go there to learn. So I'll be listening to different presenters and how they do things. What could I steal from them? But what could I also do differently? So that's something you should always put it into a forward. And obviously, I was moving in with my friend at the time. She's still a friend now, but we also had a thing. And then I left there, came to Melbourne, and this was 2 months before that dreaded C word hit. And no, not the naughty one, but the other one they don't like. And apparently, YouTube cuts you off if you say it. Or not so much cutting off, but they'll demonetize you and stuff. Like my channel, I don't think my channel is really that monetized anyway. But yeah, they apparently demonetize you if you even mention it. So that's why I'm not doing the OCA stuff on here today. So I came to Melbourne. Was living in a crack house. Yeah, wasn't exactly fun. So we'd have people. No, I wasn't partaking in any of that stuff. But I living there. I had to deal with gun incidents in the house. I had to deal with drug addicts doing illegal stuff. The cops ended up knowing me by name. There was one crackhead chick there, and she kept pestering me, and I went on a date with her. So, and like she kept pestering. I went, right, I'll just. And here's what I said. Okay, this is what's gonna happen. And this was sort of to get her to leave me alone. I'm going to agree to this if we have one issue, then it's an obvious no. So I gave the chance. And the date was. It was meant to be a Melbourne Cup day, but because you couldn't go to Melbourne Cup. This was last year, or the year before, 2020. And all the people went to the beach, and it was very crowded. So we went to go to a liquor store where we where the well, she went to go get alcohol, and I bought masks. I bought masks, and she wouldn't wear one. She went in there. I don't know, and I sat outside, so I didn't go in. But like I don't know what she said or what she did, but next thing I know, she was storming out of that place, and we're walking back to the train station, and all I noticed was cops was stopping us, and I had to talk the cops out of arresting both of us, even though I wasn't even the one doing anything wrong. I went, right, that's it, no, not happening. I gave her the one chance, and that was it. Anyway, and so that happens, and so eventually, 2021 hits, and I start, and I try, and we're starting to open up a bit, and I start putting, pretty much, I think every radio station I put out, hey, have you got, looking to volunteer at your station? The idea was to volunteer at a station and go there, train up, because they all want you to do their specific training and that. So I go there, be there for a year, move on to go somewhere else, which will be the theme of coming up with the announcement. And and I did, and originally I got called back from Golden Days Radio. That's a place. It's a lot of oldie stations. They're more geared for people over 50. And I went there, and they were playing a lot of old Disney songs like Snow White songs and stuff like that, which isn't bad. I mean, hey, I'll be into that. So I'm there, and they're sitting there, and I'm expecting, because as I said, I'm not fully trained yet. Like, even though I did podcasting and stuff like that, I was still learning, pretty much. And I didn't feel and because I had that year off, I wasn't polished enough to talk. But so I went there for a meeting, and they said, right, so um, here's the idea we have here. We could do community news show where you go around, try and get interviews with other people around there, and see stuff going on and things like that. And like, okay, cool. Um, so they'll train me on along the way. Okay, cool. So I did that, and I paid, and you have to pay memberships to all these community stations, and I paid the membership there. And the joke I say to everybody, I'm still waiting to hear back from him. It's almost been a year. So, and because in the meantime, I got a call from Plenty Valley, who is another one I also volunteered for. And originally I declined, and it was to do the course, and originally I declined because I was still waiting for this one. And it was probably about a day or two later, I just went, I sort of sat and weighed my options. I went, see, there's an opportunity for me here at Plenty Valley FM. I could wait for this Golden Days Radio just to see what's going on. But then, hey, if I did that, I wouldn't have gone to Plenty Valley FM. So obviously I went for the thing, and so I've got the training. I've been doing the show, and it's been going good. And I've actually been enjoying the show. There's a few things here and there that I'd actually yeah, but it's more like petty things, and it's not like something you can work out. Like it's here or there. Um, but otherwise, I've actually been enjoying my time at Plenty Valley Radio. And the other day it came up, and my membership was coming up, and as I said, my plan was to do it for a year, and my plan was to do it and what Plenty Valley FM does, they do grids. They do summer grids and they do winter grids, and so we're in the winter, no, we're in the summer grid now, and I haven't since been told it ends at the 17th of April. So, but but my membership was meant to be up on the 21st of this month of January, which comes in to the announcement. I will be leaving Plenty Valley FM radio, and not for anything bad, not for anything not for any bad issues. It was just time to move on. They did. We negotiated a thing, so they keep me on membership, but to keep me on for the end of the grid. So I will be finishing on the 15th of April, 2021. Big announcement! No, it's not that big. It's not that big, but I thought, hey, it is a bit clickbaity to do the. It is a bit clickbaity to get like the amateur show, but like I thought of also thinking of all this too. Like I like to do different things from time to time, and the live stream. Well, I don't do this often. This is my first one, and I want to do more. But also, I want to sort of. And here's the thing, because even though I plan to leave, and it's not, and I plan to go to a different station too. Where do I go? I don't know. But I'll get to that. Come to that when I get to it. But I'll be finishing up at Plenty Valley Radio in April. That does mean we're still not going to have fun. As I said, I love with the show. Like I love the creative outlet, and that's what it's going to do. And it's it's nothing that the radio station did. It's nothing. No bad issues or bad blood that I have. In fact, I want to. planning to leave it on good terms with everybody, because I like. And here's the thing: I could go to another station, do that for a year, and I decide to go somewhere else, and I go back to Plenty Valley sometime down the line. I mean, I could go back there, and because with the show I'm doing, um, I feel too. I mean, you can still believe there's not a lot of viewers in the chat. That it's not a big. There's not a big outreach for it, and I feel the show I'm doing, like I feel it would be fresher if I do it in different areas, and so as I say, get the experience, then come back and do a totally different thing again. Like that's always been how my mind works, and yeah. Um, I don't know what else to add to that. The amateur show. I've been running on for almost 42 minutes. Wow. People tell you when I started doing the Skygen show and amateur show, I didn't have more than a 15-minute conversation. Obviously, a lot of things happened, so I had to go into a story to get to the announcement. I mean, that's what I do. And half the time when you're doing shows like this, and I had that bit of doubt again. You have songs to go to, so if you catch yourself starting to go a bit, okay, I'm starting to lose it a little bit, you just go, okay, coming up next, this song, and you go off to it. So yeah, there's no issues with me. Like like them, but it will be a time mover, and but what I will also be doing, I'll be planning to do a lot more content on the amateur show YouTube channel, because I want this to be an experience. I want this for everyone to come in, have fun with an experience, to have an experience. For when you're not listening to the show, I also want to help promote the station too. I mean, hey, it's a pretty cool station. I mean, there's so many things happening at Plenty Valley FM. I don't think gets enough credit because it's only a regional radio station. It's like not regional, but like yeah, communities. It only goes to a certain part of Melbourne in the suburbs. And there's so many shows on there. There's like the Silly Sisters that are actually really good. There's car shows. There's and other shows that are more geared toward music. There's also shows on there, and if you like community theatre, like the guy that does the show before me, Matt Christie, he does a lot of that too. And like there's a lot of diversity. There's people that do trash disco, and I recommend listening to Plenty Valley FM. And as I said, go download the Simple Radio app and listen to it, because it's a pretty good station. And you know, like, I don't know, and I think too, when people listening, it keeps us all motivated. You know, I like being fan friendly. I like interacting with fans. If I could do like I'd probably do phone calls, but like because there's people in the US that probably want to listen to it, and UK, or that are watching this and probably want to listen to it. But they can't actually tune. But then you could also, what I do is like I have the Facebook page, the Amateur Show. Find that on Facebook, by the way, if you want to have some fun. And sometimes I do topics in there. There's a group page as well. Nobody's gone to it. And like I'll promote the all the while, but you know, hey, like it's there. There's stuff there. There's Instagram. There's Twitter. There's all of that. Let's get out there and have some fun. But anyway, so that's pretty much the big announcement that I will be leaving at the end of the summer grid, which will be the 17th is when the new grid kicks in. So my final show will be on the 15th, which is actually my best friend's birthday. So there you go. And I might actually hit him up, and I might even do a special that's his choice of songs. Yeah, I'll hit him up, and I'll say, hey, tell me a list of songs, and that's gonna be in tribute to him. Because he's in France. If he's watching this or not, I don't know. He's probably watching this on YouTube later. But yeah, like hit me up, and well, it's gonna be months down the line. Yeah, we can organise. Oh, actually, if that's the case, let me check something. It's not on my birthday. My birthday's the 15th of March. Here's the 15th of April. Like, I would have done a big birthday bash. Don't know why I did that. Yeah, you know what's funny? I got an extra can here. It's been sitting here for a while. It's probably in the heat. It's been 37 degrees outside. Yesterday it was. Probably like that now. It's been very humid. It's actually pretty hot right now because I got the lights on and everything. Ugh. And yesterday, oh my god, like it was just insane how hot it was. Well, anyway, I don't know what else I have to say now. So yeah, I read the chat, but then there's Luke Birch. I don't know who else is listening. There's probably other people listening, but then who knows? Anyway, well, thank you all for listening. And what I'll do is I'll probably keep this on this channel, but I'll also probably upload it on the other channel as well. Why not? Two for two, and see what happens. Anyway, there is some stuff on there already that you could also check out. I've also posted stuff that I did on the show. I did a thing called Murder Clause. Murder Clause, which I could probably play on here actually. Hang on. Media source. Hope that doesn't pause everything. Hope it doesn't blast out your speakers either. And actually, Luke Birch will know this one because it's a running gag I've been doing since I've been doing the Sky Genie show, and here we go.
We all know what happens if you're naughty or nice. Hoo hoo hoo! But what happens if you get away with a crime?
Oh, ho, ho, mother.
I was found
I
not
don't know if that played fully, so I'll start again.
We all know what happens if you're naughty or nice. Hoo hoo hoo! But what happens if you get away with a crime?
Oh, ho, ho, mother.
I was found not guilty of murder. I threw my garbage out in the street and nobody noticed. I'm jaywalking.
Hey everybody, I'm Miley Cyrus.
Murder Clause coming to a cinema nowhere near you.
Oh, it looks like Brent again. I don't know if you heard that or not. Luke Birch, tell me if you heard the song. If you heard it. You know, I'll probably get a reaction from me before that. Murder Clause. Well, anyway, if not, you can check it out later. Probably just wasted a full 10 minutes. But anyway, well, that's the big announcement. and I'd like to thank you all for stopping by for this live stream, and I'll catch you later.